All right. Well, this is my sketchbook from high school. It's been around for a while, huh? And it has some interesting stuff. I was doodling stuff like this in high school. This is the first page in the book, and if you look closely in there, it says intro. The word says intro, right? And then in red, those are Japanese characters. And there wasn't there. I couldn't find one Japanese character. There wasn't a Japanese character for the word laser. But what kept coming up were two other characters was fast light. Putting them together was laser. And then that last character here says style. So all three of them together says laser style. And then that's intro in the letters, right? And so that's the first page in my sketchbook. And I use my sketchbook habitually, religiously. Every day I try to get a sketch in there, a drawing, an idea, um, even, simple ideas with the Sharpie, things like this that are logo. There's all the hands in the middle. They're coming together, and just to get the idea on paper so I don't lose the idea, I don't forget. And maybe this is not the final draft. And I came back to this and put it into a poster. And a lot of the drawings in here, you know, are sketches, are ideas. A lot of them are midway. They're just ideas that are playing around with shapes, shading, colors, perspectives, right? And if I get closer here, you can start to see how those letters start to shape up, kind of 3D overlap. And again, these are just ideas we're building up. Some of these ideas have gone on to be larger murals. And I'll show you a couple of sneak peeks in there, right? Well, there's this one here. This one's all pencil graphite lead, and that's just messing around with shapes and 3Ds and it's like the angles and perspectives and keeping it semi simple, but really paying close attention to the details in the depth, the shading in between the S and the overlapping, those kind of details. And the sketchbook serves as a place to experiment, play around, try different things. And so the sketchbook serves as a playground almost. You play around with different ideas, different characters, things like this. I love to do a lot of caricatures. I'm looking at people and then turn them into cartoons. This person, there was a teller, and they had their headphone piece, and they were just happy and perky and just jolly. And I just had to sketch them up real quick, and just as a quick cartoon version is what I imagined. Ooh, here we go. These are gone up in a few murals. That guy went up in our hip hop or change mural. Yeah, yeah. The sketchbook is an amazing place to practice, to doodle, to sketch, put down ideas, to even lay down, just thoughts and dreams and maybe things that we imagined at the little child's play. And again, this is where we can play around with ideas, play around with characters. This piece right here says child's play. Yeah, can you see that? The best part about the sketchbook, I love to do this, where I intend to draw a letter, right? And I'm practicing my letter. Can you see that? Right there. Yeah, right. And I think I was trying to make the letter E of something, and I didn't really. I wasn't too happy with it. And then when I turned it this way, it looked more like an M, and I thought that that was a really interesting M, and I would rather use that as an M in that shape or form than the E, right? That I was unhappy with. And so the sketchbook serves as a practice. You know, you can sketch out different shapes and dimensions of letters, especially when you're doing 3D and the letters are turning or twisting or whipping back either into the background or the forefront. That sounds a little crazy to understand. But if the letters making a U-turn, you know, these areas are going to be darker, these areas are going to be lighter, you know. So using different ideas and different elements, not just the letters and graffiti, but using characters and using design and actual imaging of the toys. Oh, this one's a good one. Here we go. Yeah, the old school b-boy spray can with the Adidas and his, you know, his eyes protruding from under the lid, his spray cap on top, little nozzle up there. He's ready. He got some hands. We got a pilot. It looks like a pilot marker. Yep. Look at that. You can tell by the stripes on him. Yeah. And then these are where the ideas happen. The details. You could play with the details with your pencil. Um, my sketchbook served a lot to learning what my pencil can do and then what I could do with my pencil. And you can see just in the shoes alone, there's a lot of detail with the lines and the shading. There's different type of shading here. It looks like there's lines, there's some cross hatching, there's some shading gradients. Imagine you're filming a movie like Spielberg and you want to capture the right shot. Where's the camera angle? Is it on the floor? Is it up in the sky? Is it left, right? And then where's the sun? Where's the sun gonna hit it? You know? You know, if there's a sketch I don't like, I just leave it. I leave it be. I walk away from it. There's several times I have an idea, and in my head, I could visualize it, and I think it's a great idea. And then when I draw it out, and I actually see the things together, say like this idea right here. It's supposed to be a spray can, oops, and a like computer screen, and they were supposed to be working together, and there were some other images, but it wasn't working. Didn't come together, it didn't lay out right, wasn't pleasing to the eye. You know, couldn't tell what was happening. And so sometimes I just leave it and then I walk away from it. And then I probably, what I'll do is if I'm having trouble with the image itself, I'll probably take a break and work on something else, or just take a break completely, and then I'll come back to it, and I'll continue to work it. And if it absolutely I'm not getting what I visualize in my head, then I'll just leave it. I won't tear it out. I won't scribble it. I won't go over it. It just stays there, and I'll move on to the next page, or I'll come back to it to refine the idea. In which case, the idea was I wanted the spray can to be winning, and so this was a much better formulated or thought out idea after I had made the mistake. in my sketchbook. And so, um, with that being said, I want to encourage folks, anyone who's watching, like to lean forward, to fail productively, to fail forward. Um, if it doesn't work out, that's totally okay. You found out the way it didn't work, and then you're going to continue trying to figure out how it will work. You know, as long as you persist, and that's just the idea, is persisting, never giving up on that idea. You could still walk away from the process and start anew, and keep sketching, even if it doesn't turn out. Don't rip out the page. Don't scribble over it. Don't just I messed up, and take your Sharpie and cross it out. Just leave it there. It serves as a map. You come back to it and you're like, oh, I remember how I messed up there. I'm not going to do that again. Or better yet, the idea is you come back and say, hey, I learned something. That's not the way to do it. This is a much better way. And so the sketchbook, again, it's a ongoing practice. It's a religious practice. Honestly, I got to say, I pick up the sketchbook at least once or twice a day. Um, and if it's not this big one, right? I have these big ones at home, but I also carry little tiny ones, like little smaller ones in my backpack or in the car, wherever I'm at. I have a little sketchbook of sorts. Um, but yeah, the sketchbook is a great source of just rejuvenation and practice. And oh, look at this one. This one's a good one right here. This is a good practice run. Cool. Yeah. And so, you know, outside of graffiti, what propels me, with my letters and my graffiti style and the murals, is practicing, drawing other things, drawing people, drawing shapes, drawing images, drawing designs. Sometimes I feel like doing art and I feel like being creative, but I just don't know what to make. And um, more often than none, it's just the wanting to do something. I'll grab the book, I'll grab a color, or a brush, a roller, a can, or whatever I could grab first, and I'll just throw it on. I'll literally slap the paint where it ain't on the book and just go. And this is one of those examples where um, it isn't really a direction. There isn't a picture, a design. It's not graffiti per se. It's not letters. But I just felt like I needed to do something. I needed to release. I grabbed a roller, threw some paint, rolled it, and then I grabbed a spray can and did some blue. What else did I do? Oh, this brown color was like a paintbrush, and then I literally just like threw it on, and that became something fun to do, and it turned out something pretty awesome. I think I like it. I mean, yeah, like this one here. You know, many a times I want to do stuff, and I have no direction. And then what's cool about these, right? No, I'll go back to the other book. What's cool about that is that later I can come back and I have those backgrounds already painted on the page. And then maybe another idea comes around and I'm like, all right, well, let me find that background. Maybe the background will go great with the drawing idea. Now this is two different ideas, right? The background I did first earlier on, that was just the blue part, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And then later I had the idea of Mr. Sandman visiting me, and me going to sleep and having my dream and knocking me out and wanting to stay alive to win. Um, and then the drawings came up, and then I put them on. I drew them on another page, and then put them on. I glued them on. It's just a practice and taking time to visit your sketchbook. Find. I didn't know what I wanted to do again, and then having the habits of if you don't know what to do, grab a magazine, grab a photo, um, set up a still life with some oranges and fruit, or grab a cup and set it up in your home, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, and just go off and draw the sketchbook. Oh, here's some cultural ones. I like this one. Ooh. This one was after reading some really powerful work, and then that led me to drawing these guys. These are very recognizable. In your sketchbook, anything can happen. You can make anything in your sketchbook. You can make anything go anywhere. In this sketchbook today, we went just right now, showed you images of space and galaxy. We went to different dimensions and worlds. There were b-boys and breakers, letters and 3Ds and shapes. And all of that happened in one visit in this sketchbook. So imagine if you start your sketchbook and rather start your collection of sketchbooks, you have so much work and ideas and art and amazing magic that'll happen over time in those books. So really encourage everyone to keep using the sketchbooks and then share amongst each other, trade your sketchbook with folks so that people could do awesome, cool things in your sketchbooks as well. Arte, Arte from 1810, you know it. He did a really cool piece for me way back when. Let me see the date on this. What's the date on this? There's a date on. Holy moly, 2003. What? Look right there. 2003. What? My guy. And you can see the piece. Art, R-A-R-T are the first three letters, and then E is at the end, has the little flavor, the sazon, the sauce, but beautifully done. And so the sketchbook, we can trade with each other and do cool art and give each other art. You trade your sketchbook with me, and I trade your sketchbook with you, and then we return it within a period of time, and then you have really cool artwork that we collect from each other. To say the least, sketchbooks are awesome.